Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the AMX 13 F3AM. It's the Tier 6 French SPG. It's located on the south spawn of Cliff, and this one is under the command of a fingernail clipping, and he's got one mark of excellence. Game on! Well, this is the Arty made from the AMX 13-ton tank. Basically, there's only two people on board at the moment. There's the driver and the commander, and that's all. The rest of the crew have to drive along in a truck, which also contains all the ammunition. Now, it's a 155mm howitzer with the standard stun shells. It'll do 630 alpha and 39mm pen with 7.6 meter burst radius and between 11 and 22 seconds of stun. But he's loaded the non-stun HE variety. That does 770 alpha, 49mm of pen, and it's only got a 4 meters blast radius. So if he gets this shell accurate, it could do a lot of damage to an enemy tank. Round south. Well, he gets a direct hit, and it is a penetrating shot for 726, which turns out to be a low roll. And in fact, that Skoda died almost immediately afterwards to an ELC M90 on our team. So we've got a kill, but it wasn't us who got the kill, it was us who did the assist. You could say, well, fingernail clipping who did it. Rounds out for the second shot, and that's another direct hit on the enemy ELC. Now he's relocating between each shot. The standard reload on this Arty, 30.58 seconds. 25.77 is fingernail clipping's reload. Okay, he's doing a lot of overhead view, but obviously he does have the option to use battle assistant if he needs it. There's the ELC. Now you notice the way he's hidden himself just behind that rock so he can spy on our guys as they get up onto that end of the donut. And he's splashed the guy for 68 hit points and got 206 stun assist. And the ELC has now been killed, and he was killed by our Tiger 131. We're 4 up on the enemy at the moment. It's been a pretty fast game, you could say, because we're only, less than just over 2 minutes into the game. An enemy Tiger's been spotted at the other end. That's a Tier 7 heavy. He's taking damage from a 53 TP. We splash him for 137. Tier 8 game with Tier 6 tanks in it. Okay, the enemy Hummel's just been spotted. He decided to go to the spot fairly near the western parcel, the western area of the map, but unfortunately he got spotted, and our T-3485M managed to get the kill on him. Borsig spotted up in the sniper's nest, hiding behind the rock. Rounds out. That's a direct hit. No explosion, which means we definitely hit him very hard. Okay, he's loading a stun shell. We're 3 up on the enemy now. They've managed to claw one back. And they're pushing to try and get round the cliff. But we've spotted another enemy tank. There's the Borsig. He actually left the sniper's nest. We're aiming ahead of his path. Leading the shot. Rounds out. Looks good. And he does get a splash for 221. He's actually also got the communications expert skill running. So that's 2.5% extra on crew skills for all the team for the rest of the game. It's so important to have that if you're an Arty player, because it just boosts everything for the rest of the game, almost as if you were using premium consumables. Fires on the 40 TP, who doesn't move very far, but at least we got some stun assist off him. Oh, and he's popped. The 40 TP goes down to the T-3485M, and now there's only one enemy left, and it's a heavy. It's a Tiger 1. And it's that same Tiger 1 we fired at earlier in the game. Unfortunately, we've lost sight of him. But the team knows where he is, and I think it's probably going to be the T-3485M who finds him. Yes, he did find him. And he's making his way towards us, so the ELC goes in first. We stun him. Unfortunately, the ELC rammed himself to death against that Tiger 1. He's still there. We're reloading. The Achilles is probably going to be the first to arrive. He spotted him. And he pops him. And that's the end of the game. Here's the end of battle stats. And that was a relatively fast game, but it was an ace tanker game for a fingernail clipping in the AMX 13F3 AM. He also got a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he managed to get 9. And his win rate from the game, 2,322, which is very good, but just short of Unicum standard. Let's have a look at team score. Well, we can see the highest damage in that game actually went to that Tiger 1. Yes, the one that stayed eluding our guys for so long. 2,736 hit points of damage went to that guy. But he didn't pick up a high caliber because it wasn't 20% of the enemy hit pool, but it probably was fairly close. Second highest damage was the VK3002D on the enemy team. That's the Daimler version of the Panther. And he managed 2,156. And the highest damage that any player on our team managed to get in third place is 1,861, and that went to an FB4202. We can see that the fingernail clipping picked up 1,695 hit points, which means there was 2 players on the enemy team that are ahead of him, 2 players on his own team, and that makes him 5th when it comes to damage. When it came to kills, though, he didn't get any at all. But the high scorer was that Tiger 1 again, who got 3 kills. 2 kills went to the Tiger P, the Leo, the ELC M90, who rammed himself to death against that Tiger 1. Not a good idea. 2 kills went to the T3485M and the Tiger 131 on our team. And only 1 player on the enemy team managed to get 2 kills, and that was the VK3002D. And when it came to base XP, we can see the highest scorer was a fingernail clipping. Yes, he really rocked it on the base XP because he's the only one who managed to get over 1,000 base with 1,064. Second highest, the Leo with 897. Third place, the Tiger P, or Tiger Porsche, who managed 894. So, yes, it was all that stun assist that he was picking up, which made a huge difference. It not only gave him the ace tanker, but it also gave him that communications expert skill, which just made his scoring all the better towards the end of the game. Let's have a look at detail. He fired 8 rounds, only 8, but that shows the degree of accuracy to make those 8 work. He got 3 direct hits on the enemy and 1 penetrating shot, and that must have been the first shot he fired, the one that actually hit the Skoda. And we can check that just by looking. Yeah, well, it says 3 hits received. It was a penetrating shot. 726, 1 penetration, but he did 3 critical hits in the game. Sorry, not 3 hits. Engine, fuel tank, and track. And of course, because he was tracked, he was then taken out by the ELC on our team. Go back to the details, we can see he got 7 splashes, 1,695 hit points of damage, all of it at more than 300 meters. Damaged 5 of the enemy, didn't get any kills, so just missed out on getting a Confederate medal. 1,568 hit points of stun assist of 7 stuns. On a free player count, he actually made a profit of 28,477 credits. And he also picked up 1,064 base XP out of that game as well. He said there was bad scouts on both sides, but just look at the speed of that battle. 4 minutes, 56 seconds. So basically a 5-minute battle. And he got an ace tanker out of only 8 shots. That takes some doing. That really is very, very good. And I can tell you that, yes, at this moment, fingernail clipping is actually trying to mark his get his second mark on this Arty. In fact, he's trying to get the 3rd mark as well. But yes, a very, very good battle, this one. To get an ace tanker off 8 shots takes some doing. But this is not the only replay he sent in. Fingernail clipping sent another replay in, also featuring the AMX 13F3. So let's have a look at that one and see how he did. In the second battle, we're on the south spawn of Pilsen. And we're off. It sounds like he's actually changed his crew, Commander. in the meanwhile. It's actually the smallest and the lightest of all the 155mm howitzer, and that actually includes the M41 HMC Gorilla, which of course it was actually built to replace. You can understand that when you realise it's actually based on the AMX 13-ton tank. They built 621 of these. Okay, well, we can see some destruction going on, and there is a VK2801 there, which is the non-premium version. Rounds out. Oh, he did get stunned there as well. He managed to put the shell in. He's picked up, well, 397, 439. A lot of stun assists for just one shot. Okay. Position himself nicely. He's almost loaded. Now in the game, this Arty does have a crew of 5. But in actual fact, if you've ever seen any pictures of the AMX 13 F3AM in action, the real one, you can see the crew are considerably more. They actually use an entire truck's worth of crew to actually service the gun. Now he's looking all over the map at the moment for targets, and although there's plenty of enemy in sight, he hasn't really found anything that's decent to shoot at, except this one. And he's firing into the factory. Well, unfortunately, that was one of our guys that went down. He was killed by the M6. Rounds out. Well, he plonks a shell down next to the Tiger, and, or is it the M6, and managed to get some damage. Or did he get some damage? I'm looking at it now, wondering if he did. It's not showing on the list, unless, of course, it was blind damage. Okay, we're going for the M4A3E2. That's the Sherman Jumbo. And he's a one-shot. He decided not to shoot. He has got the communications expert skill working, and he just got a direct hit on the enemy tank, and I think it was the Achilles. And there's a good chance that he did penetrate that guy, because the Achilles actually does have very thin armor. It's basically an M10 with a 17-pounder gun instead of the 76. Okay, we're looking inside the battery. He's not loaded yet, but he might be able to get a shot. Rounds out. Oh, 2 enemy tanks together. The KV2. And it was the KV2 that took the damage there. Now, unfortunately, there is a confrontation going on near the Achilles at the moment. And it's an Easy 8 that's actually attacking him, and he just killed him. Or was it? Nope, it's the M43 Biz, the enemy medium, that actually got the kill. The enemy are flooding towards our cap area. Now, we're sitting as far back as we can, but I think we might actually have to go out a little bit further to get shots on some of these. Rounds out. Oh, that's a kill. Yep, and he did get spotted as he fired as well. You can see the Nashorns had to go round the corner. And enemy Arty tried to fire. Oh, it's actually at the Nashorn, not at us. Now, as far as we can make out, there is an enemy tank up the other end of the railway line, but we're focused on these tanks attacking our gap area. It's a KV2. We've hit him before. Okay, we're going to use the intuition skills. We're reloading the non-stun HE to try and take this guy down. Lines it up ahead of track. Direct hit. 277 hit points of damage. He fired up over that huge mound of coal. Of course, the Pilsen works is where a lot of the Czech tanks are actually manufactured. So there's a lot of steel manufacturing going on there. The KV2 is now one shot, but we're looking elsewhere. That P43 is just on that corner. He's still got the non-stun HE. bided in just to see if he can get some splash. Unfortunately, as I said, the splash radius of the non-stun HE is not very high. It's only 4 meters. So you have to get the shell very close to actually get some damage. Okay, that crane is really getting in the way. And unfortunately, the enemy Arty is also firing. He's actually positioned himself, so he's got his rear end up to try and get more, a better angle on these enemy. It will reduce his range, but I don't think he's worried about range. I think he's more worried about trying to get the shot on target. The P-43 Beers is just around the other side of those hulks of the, or the hulls of the Hetzers, or the Jagdpanzer 38. We can hear the RT firing. There's a rumble from the RT as it was firing at our teammates. Okay, P-43 keeps backing up. Oh, yes, he put a round into the rear of the P-43 and it killed him. We're 1 down on the enemy at the moment. They've got 5 tanks, we've only got 4. But it's who that he's managed on his side, who he's got on his side that's important. Because he does have a pair of Cromwells working with him and an M4A376 Wet. The enemy team, well, they've got a pair of M44s, an Achilles, a T-3485M and an ARL-44. As far as we know, there's no enemy over on this side of the battlefield. Looks like everyone's over on the other side. He's making his way into the corner, so he may have to defend the cap on his own. All the other guys have decided to group together and attack as one unit, and that's actually a very smart move. The only problem with this is that, of course, the view range on this RT is not very high. It's only 270 meters. Okay, one of the M44s has been spotted. He's dialing in very quickly. He's got the communications expert skill operating. So 2.5% extra on the XP. Oh, not the XP, sorry, on the skills. He got a direct hit and a wipeout on the M44. So that's equalized the scores. We're actually slightly better off when it comes to hit points as well. Only 200 extra, but that's one shot from some of these guns. We don't know where the Achilles is. There's the M44. Right on the edge. Rounds out. Well, it stunned him. And shots are being fired in this direction. And we got the stun assist. Okay, there's the T-3485. Not loaded yet. Putting another stun shell into the breach. Okay, he's sat round the corner. He's firing at our teammates. Rounds out. Oh, and a lovely shot, but somebody's capping. And I suspect that will be the Achilles or the ARL-44. Okay, T-34 is doomed. And he's gone. The Cromwell got him in the end. But somebody is in the cap area. And I suspect he's probably just the other side of that mound of rubble. And we did get a reset. 23 hit points. In fact, both enemies are in the cap. The ARL and the Achilles both headed towards the cap. In fact, we can now see one of them, the ARL, and he's one shot for us. Oh, and he goes down to one of the Cromwells, and that just leaves the Achilles. There he is, he's a one shot too. And he splashes that guy to death and wins the game. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was another ace tanker game for a fingernail clipping in the AMX 13 F3 AM. And in fact, this battle took place not long after the previous battle. And he not only got the ace tanker, he got a fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills. He got 4 exactly. He got his second mark of excellence out of that game. And on top of that, he got a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he managed to get 7 in this game. And his win rate was higher this time, 3,413, which is Super Unicum standard. Let's have a look at team score. Well, we can see that he didn't get the highest damage in the game. No, he was the highest damage on his team, but the highest damage in the game actually went to the P43 Biz on the enemy team, who got 3,229. Now, that's the tank that he did manage to nail in the posterior, because he fired a round in a rather snapshot, but he was already dialing in that area. He was already looking in that area, but the guy backed up just enough behind those Hetzer hulls, and he managed to put a round right through his rear, and that ended his game. He did get the high caliber. The second highest damage in the game turned out to be the Dickermax on the enemy team, 1,814 hit points, and third highest actually is a fingernail clipping with 1,596. When it came to kills, though, it was actually in second place. The Cromwell, one of the Cromwells, managed to get a top gun and 6 kills. 4 kills went to a fingernail clipping, and 3 kills went to the M6 on the enemy team. And when it came to base XP, he's tops. 986, just under the 1,000 mark. 874 went to the Cromwell, and 755 went to the M4A376 wet. Unfortunately, he did get killed at the end by the T3485M, I think it was, just before the guys came south to try and kill off the last remaining enemy. So let's have a look at detail. Only 13 shots fired this time, so goes from 8 shots to 13, but he still gets an ace tanker. 6 direct hits on the enemy, 1 penetrating shot, and 11 splash. Let's have a look and see which one did he penetrate on. Well, I have a feeling that the penetrating shot was probably the M44, and I'm right. Yes, it was the M44 he hit. That guy got 315 hit points, 1 penetrating shot, took him out of the game altogether. He got 1,596 hit points of damage, of which 1,572 were at more than 300 meters. So there was one shot that was actually fairly close to the enemy. 8 enemy vehicles were damaged, 4 were killed, and he got 1,105 hit points of stun assist off 7 stuns. He got 48 defense points, so he wasn't far off actually getting a defender medal as well. And on a free-to-play account, he made a profit of 17,762 credits, and he got 25 bonds for a mission achievement, and he also took away 986 XP, base XP out of this one on free-to-play. Yes, so very well done. In a few hours, basically, went from being a first mark to a second mark. Yes, there you can see 1823 on the 14th. And then the next battle, 1842, also on the 14th. So, yes, next battle, he picks up his second mark of excellence. Now, the difficult part is actually getting that third mark. But if he keeps carrying on with this sort of damage, then I don't think there's going to be much problem. In fact, it's actually the way that he's selecting his shells that makes a difference. Because he's actually going for the extra HE, or the non-stun HE, on some targets to make sure that he gets more damage on them, and then picks up the assist because the enemy target gets wiped out by our teammates. Not because of stun, but because of damage assist. He's actually tracking these guys for his teammates to get the quick kill on them. So well done to Fingernail Clipping for getting 2 aces in a row and a second mark of excellence. I presume the next one we see, because it hasn't been long since he started playing this Arty, the next one we see will probably be his third mark. I hope you enjoyed this replay. If you did, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.